Mark Golding's own words.
Right.
Mark Golding's own words that he is not comfortable with the situation. So no matter what you want to try to say, Mark Golding's own word
Right.
contradict what you say. Let me just allow teacher to say a thing because they check in and check back out. And you might teacher and got you.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Let me start by commending you guys for having this conversation. It's important that as regular citizens, we have these discussions and we can get out of the place of ignorance. All right. You just said something very important, Imate. Mark Golding's own words are important to this conversation.
Right.
At the beginning of the process, Mr. Golding indicated that's the process of constitutional reform. Mr. Golding indicated that the time is now for us to move away from the monarchy, and that the government of the day should do everything forthwith to advance this process. He indicated that the government and the opposition are not in agreement on matters related to the final appellate court. And so, in light of that, they should move on what they agree with, which is moving away from the monarchy. When the CRC's report was developed, Mr. Golding said he's not going to sign off because he doesn't think the approach of phasing the process is right, contrary to what he had said before. He indicated that we shouldn't have 1 foot in the monarchy and 1 foot out of the monarchy.
Right.
We should make a full move away as a country. And I agree with him that we need to get out of the monarchy. Now, when the issue of citizenship came up, initially he had an interview with Nightly Fix. He said on Nightly Fix program, when he was asked about his British status, that he does not feel like somebody in his position should be the holder of a dual citizenship. Those were his words.
Right. Fact.
He later did an interview on television Jamaica when the Prime Minister gave a response on CVM about the citizenship issue. Mr. Golding had an interview the next day. Mr. Golding said that his passport will expire at the end of this year and he has no intention to renew his passport.
Facts. And then him go say.
Then Mr. Golding did an interview with Isaac Buchanan on his podcast, and he indicated that he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong by having his British citizenship, that he feels like it's a legacy given to him by his father, and he would have to contemplate how his father would feel about him relinquishing his British citizenship. It's something that he's meditating on and praying about. At no point in time in this entire discourse has Mr. Golding put up any other defenses I hear the persons putting up for him on this platform.
Facts.
He's obviously struggling with this issue that he himself seems to know that it is a contentious issue and an untenable one as somebody vying to become the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Mr. Golding is not a regular MP. We can have a discussion around whether dual citizens should be in the parliament or not. But Mr. Golding is not a regular member of parliament. Mr. Golding is the only person on the opposition who has a diplomatic passport.
Right.
Because the position of opposition leader is recognized by the Constitution of Jamaica. He is Prime Minister in waiting. That is what the leader of the opposition is.
Right. Exactly right.
And in light of that, I don't know which other country in the world you could have a prime minister who is a citizen of another country, meaning he's the head of state of one country, but he is subject to the head of state of another country. That is untenable. And I'm listening to the conversation and people talking about he has done nothing illegal. The issue here is even if 39 and 40 are to be explored in its fullest sense, Mark Golding has not gone to the constitutional issue of 39 and 4. He is struggling with the issue. And I'm going to say this one last thing, gentlemen. When Mark Golding raised the issue of the Speaker of the House and her being the Prime Minister's wife, I sided with Mark Golding because I think even though the Constitution does not disallow her from being Speaker, I think it doesn't send a good message.
Yeah.
When the leader of the government business, who is the Speaker of the House, the Speaker gives oversight to the Parliament, and the Prime Minister have such a close relationship.
Yeah.
Mr. Golding was making a point on principle.
Yeah.
He was not raising a point on law. He was not raising a point that is constitutional. He was raising a point on principle. I sided with Mr. Golding then. Why is it that the people who are supporting this position are moving away from principle?
Right.
No.
Exactly.
What about the issue of principle? No.
Well said.
But even
I will say, I will stop there.
No,
No,
hold on,
but
James.
that is what
One
you
second.
Well, I'm
was
push back
saying
on him on that
before.
one there, Imhotep, because
Yeah,
Mr.
but-
Golding and
yeah,
the
we were
PNP
saying that.
agreed with the JLP when they brought it forward at first. So if you
Right.
disagree,
But-
you should disagree right there and then.
Beg on 10 seconds, please. DB, respect to DB, you know. Yeah, man, respect to DB if you have dropped the super chats them, you know. We greatly appreciate the support, the general.
Big up
Manners
DB.
and respect to everyone. The kid, big up yourself. Ryan Williams, you know what thing go. Raphael Beckford, all the ones and Kirk, big up yourself.
Big
yeah,
up.
man, teacher, you just drop some
Yeah, that's what we
premise in
said,
the
yeah.
reasoning, and the reality is that, my general, this is the weirdest conversation
Weird.
that happened on YouTube, where Mark Golding himself find him situation to be very uncomfortable, and supporters are trying to justify it when Mark Golding is not trying to justify it.
Right.
So
Facts.
it's just weird, but anyways. James,
Allow me to match down.
No,
Allow me to match down teacher argument.
No.
Allow me to match down
George, hold
teacher
on,
argument. 2 seconds.
hold on. No, hold on, Jazz, man. You're 2 seconds or 2 minutes, but make James Bond make him point him and make, and then it's over to you. So teacher can respond and school you too. So go through James Bond.
Yeah, teacher, what the pushback that I have was with Mark and Juliet being Speaker of the House. They had no issue when they brought up that they wanted Juliet to be. They said, a matter of fact, they said she was more than qualified to do it. When they got into their issues now, then it's now becoming a problem. So I can't side with him on that. Yes, the principle of it, I understand what they're saying, and I would definitely side with the principle of it. Say the Prime Minister wife should not be in that position. But when they had the opportunity of doing it, when everything was all fine and done, they agreed. When things start going south, now what they don't agree with rulings or whatever, now they're saying that so you can't have it both ways.
No. But I was not making a case that they were necessarily making the argument against Mrs. Holness because they saw something wrong. I'm saying the principal position behind the argument is one that I side with.
I agreed with it too. Actually.
Because I think there needs to be that kind of separation.
Yes,
But teacher, what I'm saying, I agree with you on that
And
one.
also,
yes.
James Bond.
Hold on, Miss
if you
Julie. And I
remember,
also,
right?
hold on,
sorry,
Miss
go
Julie,
ahead.
1 second. I also agree with you on the principal argument of it. You know.
Yeah.
100%, I do
Okay,
agree with both of you. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is, Mark should not be complaining about it now because he had agreed before.
Well, listen.
Right.
He's bringing the principal argument.
Hold on. But can I quickly just make two distinctions here? There's a distinction between what is principle and there's a distinction between what is performance.
Right.
The principle of it, I have an issue with. The performance of the person has to be assessed.
Right.
There are two different things. So I may have a problem in principle with her being in the position.
Yeah.
But if I assess her performance and see issues with her performance, I can also criticize her performance.
Right.
Because she's already in the position. I can do
agree.
nothing about that. Okay?
I agree. And with both of you too, because the thing is, at that time, James, if you remember, that's what I was saying. I was saying that, listen, just the fact that there are certain legal coverings that they would be able to benefit from because of the fact that they're a married couple in a court of law, right? Certain things like that, right? It can foster any kind of corruption, and we won't be able to hold them accountable, not in principle, right? But I do agree with what you were saying, though, James Bond, that it seemed mighty convenient, especially because they agreed to it before. But my thing is this, okay? they agreed to it, they probably shouldn't have. And we can't deny that in principle it was wrong. So now it's still wrong. Whether it was wrong then, it's still wrong now. So them did something about they tried to do something about it. You understand what I mean? So yeah, so in principle I definitely agree with what you're saying, teacher. Definitely. Hello?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, I'm here. But somebody wanted to respond to what I said, so you can go ahead.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
George want for response here.
Yeah. All right, teacher.
You have a school teacher, you know, so go through, George.
Yeah, this is a teacher, right? And we come back to the point of cherry picking. Okay? And teacher made a point about the passport. So I'm asking teacher, so his passport is recognized by the Constitution as pledging allegiance to Britain, but his Commonwealth status that is in the Constitution, which does not breach the Constitution, is not recognized. The next point about
I'm not sure. Hold on. Are you asking a question or are you making a point?
Yeah, I'm making a point and asking a question at the same time because you
No,
are saying
you can't do both, though, George.
No, I'm not sure I'm clear on what you're asking, though. What is the question?
I can just rephrase it. You are saying that the mere fact that he renewed his passport, that is a statement to say that he is pledging allegiance. But his Commonwealth status, that is written in the Constitution, you do not recognize that.
No, yes, the Commonwealth status.
So let's
is against what Mark Gordon is.
All right, can we make a card? Can we just make a clear distinction?
No, you can make answer after. Just make me finish and answer.
No, George, it can't be a long-winded flight, brother.
No,
man.
I'm not long-winded.
Hold on, man. Eat away there, brother. Hold on, man.
Yeah, but I just want to finish.
Family. You're there, you talked about 2 minutes a while ago, and you still want to talk again. Come on, man. Make a point faster, man, and go through, man. Go ahead, George.
Right. So the question, right? As you know, the question is, we cannot cherry pick what is right and what is wrong. And I will say this to end. Andrew Holness, when Portia Simpson brought this same constitution reform to the government, he said that, what is the rush with this constitution reform? We have more important things to deal with, like our economy. We don't need to be dealing with this. So the same thing that you can say Mark Golding is preventing, we can say further down the line, Andrew was
but George, George, let us be adults in the room and not children. Mark, Jamaica is not where we were in 2015.
Right.
Jamaica is in 2024.
2024.
We can't keep going back to Portia and Pete. And I say that to say, this.
Decorum, please. Let him respond.
I say that to say this. George, I say that to say this. The opposition leader and the Prime Minister had Vale Royal talks. In the opposition leader's presentation to Parliament in 2022, and you can go and check it, it's on JIS's website, he said that it is time for us to move now towards decolonization. The government and the opposition are in agreement. The society is in agreement on that. What we don't agree on is our final appellate court. And we can deal with that after. Mikhail Phillips in the House of Representatives laid a private member's motion for removal of the king as the head of state. Right? That's a document that you can go and revisit. It's in answered in the parliamentary documents. It therefore means, George, that both the opposition and the government agree in 2023 that we need to move this thing along. This is not 2015 when there was disagreement. This is 2024 when there is agreement. Now, the fact that we have agreed in principle to phase the process is good. What we cannot have is a situation where Mr. Golding, who is a British citizen, is going to be in a position where he could become the Prime Minister of Jamaica while being a subject of the British monarch.
Right.
Right, and
That-
teacher, I just want to say this quick and fast.
Exactly.
Him being a British citizen, yeah, him can become commander-in-chief. That's a military position.
Exactly. The British laws doesn't allow any British citizen to serve in the army of another country.
Right. So I don't know
And
why
as
these
the leader of the country, he is the head of the defense,
Right,
the Minister of Defense. I don't understand what George is talking about.
feelings in the
Teacher.
general. But 1 second still.
Teacher.
Big up to Alex Brown. Yeah, man. Greatly appreciate the support with this. The super chat, me general.